What's a podcast? I like your show.
How did I get here? Welcome to the Shipe Sports Show.
Good evening, sports fans. Welcome to another episode of the Shipe Sports Talk Show. I am your host, Matthew Shipe, joined always by my co-host and the best producer for podcasts is Paul. Paul, how are you doing?
What's up, everybody? I'm doing fine, man.
You know, Chris isn't here tonight. We should just put you on camera tonight.
All right,
Should
that might
do.
happen.
Let's do it. What do you think, Anthony? Oh, yeah, Anthony's here. Anthony, how are you doing?
Good. How you doing tonight?
It's good to have the
Thanks
face
for-
back. He wasn't here last week for our interview with Larry Ridley. And if you missed that interview, you can catch that interview on Facebook/Shipe Sports Talk and on our YouTube page at our previous videos. So check it out. He was very passionate last week.
He
Awesome,
was, yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Listen, last week.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. Like he,
Very
first of all, it was super cool that he was able to do that, and that he, he recognized the Shipe Sports Talk show, right?
on Twitter as well. That was
On
pretty
Twitter,
awesome.
yeah, that was so cool.
Big thanks to him again. So, this week, you see the title of the show, and Anthony's got the jersey on. He's a little down right now, but, you know, Giants can't catch a break. So, we're going to have him break down the Giants. A little bit later in the show, we'll talk about the Redskins. I'll bring up some Titans. We'll still talk about week 2, but we're going to start off the show the way that we always do, with the fantasy focus segment. I'm going to have to have you do like a sound bit for that.
Fantasy Focus.
There we go. That sounds good. Now you just have to record it. I have like a big thing that goes on the screen that says Fantasy Focus. It goes like, you know, like a flashlight or something. I don't know.
Hold on. Okay, let me get it. You guys just talk.
All right, so we always tell you our start and sit 'em for the week, so we're going to go with quarterbacks. And Anthony, I will let you go with the start and sit 'em for quarterbacks first.
All right. So for my stardom, I'm gonna go with Matthew Stafford against Atlanta. I don't really think Atlanta's defense in the secondary is as strong, and I think the Lions are a very heavy pass offense. They're still trying to integrate the run, and as you saw last week, you could see they were starting to give the ball more to Abdullah. And one of the things that I saw, which was crazy, the last time they had a person rush for 100 yards in a game was 2013. That was Reggie Bush, the Lions. So I think the pass-friendly team is going to be what the Lions continue with, and with Stafford back there, I think that's what's going to keep going. So I'm going to go with Stafford as a stardom. For a sit-em, a guy that I think really showed up last week, and I think he's definitely a player to watch, but I don't think it's something you need to buy the hype into yet, and that's Trevor Siemian. I think Buffalo's defense is a little better in the secondary than the Cowboys are. But I just don't, and that's not necessarily that I think that the Bills are even a better team than the Cowboys. I just think that Simeon is going to continue with producing like he did last week. He had a huge game last week, and we'll see what happens there. Matt, it looks like you got something you want to report there.
I just made a quick FanDuel, and I plugged in Todd Gurley. Guess what he did on the first? Already scored a touchdown. Brian Hoyer.
Woo! Yeah, that's in your league. I got him. There we go.
He threw an interception on the first play. They took it back to the 3-yard line, Gurley. So with already
Wait,
12
I have the Rams defense, and I have Gurley.
There
Yes,
you go.
Sir.
So with
Let's go.
12 seconds into the game, it's 7-0. And the Rams kicked it off. That's crazy. All right, so my starting this week is going to be I'm going to go with Cam Newton this week. Going against New Orleans, whose pass defense is not the best. Defense in general is not the best. We saw what Brady did, put up 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. So I think Cam Newton's going to get things going this week. And my sit-em this week. Oh man, it was a toughie for me, but I'm gonna go with Man, you took Blake Bortles against the Ravens. The Ravens have 10 turnovers so far this year, I believe. I believe it's 10 turnovers. That's why I don't want to make myself look like a fool here. Let me check real quick. Yeah, it's about it's 10 turnovers. Sorry, Blake Bortles, you came back down to earth last week. We all saw it. They went from Sackville to Suckville in 1 week. So Blake Bortles. So let's get to the running backs this week. My starting
Running backs.
Yeah, I'll start this week. Le'Veon Bell. He's had a quiet first 2 weeks. He's going against the Bears defense. They're 0-2. Not very good against the run. I think Le'Veon Bell will finally get things going this week for fantasy football owners who drafted him first or second, first like me. And then my sit-em this week is going to be DeMarco Murray. Little hamstring. They said he is going to start, but you're going against Seattle's run defense. Seattle's offense hasn't been great. Their defense is actually putting up really good numbers still. So I'm going to go with DeMarco Murray to sit this week against that Seattle defense. Also with Derrick Henry, he emerged last week as a pretty good threat. So start and sit him. Go ahead.
I'm going to go with stardom. I'm going to go with Jay Ajayi. I'm not going to use Gurley now. I did like Gurley, but I'm going to use Jay Ajayi here from Miami playing the Jets. And then for my sit-em, I'm going to take Jeremy Hill. The Bengals just really aren't figuring it out there on the offensive side of the ball.
All right, let's get to wide receivers, and I'll have you start it off, buddy. Go right ahead.
Stardom. I'm going to go with Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown really he's had good games. Last week was kind of a down game for him. I think he's due for a big game, and I think it could come this Sunday against the Bears. And then for sit-em, I'm going to go with Keenan Allen against Kansas City. I know a lot of people drafted him high. I just think Kansas City's defense has done a really good job so far this season.
My start this week is going to be Doug Baldwin. I know they're playing against Tennessee, but their cornerbacks really haven't been doing the best of jobs. The first 2 weeks we saw Cooper lit them up. Last week, Bortles was, when he had time, he was getting to the receivers. So I'm gonna go with Doug Baldwin, and my sim this week is gonna be Allen Hurns. A lot of people went and picked him up off the waiver wire after Allen Robinson went down. Allen Hurns.
You're right.
I thought I was wrong. They have two Allens. But I'm going to go with Sidham because Bortles, like we said, came back to earth last week. He looked, his passes were overthrown and all this other things. So I'm going to say don't start Allen Hurns. So let's go ahead. I thought you were going to add something.
No, you're good.
Let's go to tight ends. I'll start him. And Travis Kelce has been the best tight end in the league this week. I believe you have to start him this week again against the 0-2 Chargers. About to be the 0-3 Chargers. And my sit-em this week is going to be... Hold on, I'm trying to pull up his name right now. I can't believe I forgot him. There he is. Austin Hooper. Everyone was big on him after week 1, but if you look at his stat line, he only had 2 catches, and the only big one was that long gain. Reality after that, he really hasn't really done much. So, he had an 88 long touchdown reception, but that was 1 reception. He only has 3 other receptions. So, and he's only totaled 135 yards, so that just goes to show you he really hasn't done much other than that touchdown. So I'm going to say sit Hooper this week. I think they have more weapons that they're utilizing more there than the tight end.
Fair enough. A tight end, I'm going with Jack Doyle against Cleveland. I think he's become a bigger target there in Indianapolis. And I think if Brissett plays again, I think he's just going to get more comfortable. And this is a game where you have 2 0-2 teams meeting each other. And I think it's definitely a matchup that he'll like. And then for my sit-em, I'm actually going with Delaney Walker. I think he's played really well, and I think he's a great tight end. But I think that Seattle, the secondary especially, and the linebackers have been pretty good. And I think they'll find a way to stop Delaney Walker from being a huge factor for the Titans. With that being said, I don't think Seattle has played offensively very well so far this season. So...
And their fronts and their offensive line is pretty much in the same boat as you guys, as in they're bad. Let's be honest. They didn't have a quarterback like Russell Westbrook. Oh my God, Russell Wilson. They may have been in the same boat as you guys in trouble because let's face it, Eli can't really. You know what? Let's go ahead. That's our fancy focus segment. Let's go ahead and just segue right into your team, the Giants. Since we're speaking of Eli and the offensive line. Talk to me, man. What's going on? I'm going to sit here, listen to you, talk to me. This is the floor. That's your stage right now. Go ahead.
It's a very simple thing, man. We talked about this last year. It was the same thing the Giants faced. The offensive line was a huge issue. The Giants' defense played really well. The offense was able to make, plays. This year, they went into the offseason, and the one thing they didn't address was the offensive line. They brought back John Jerry. And here's the thing. These people, a lot of the analysts, they like to look at individual ratings. Like this person scored an 80, which is great, but Flowers scored a 48. It doesn't matter who's performing well. The whole offensive line works in cohesion. So if one person's playing well, even if the other guy's doing awful, they're still getting to the quarterback. So it's the one guy is just, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Individually, there might be better players. Obviously, I think Pugh is better than probably most of them. Richburg, I think Pugh and Richburg, the 2 younger guys, are probably the best people on the line without question. But you have to produce as a cohesive unit, as a 5. And the Giants aren't getting that. Eli Manning's no young guy, and even in his youngest time, he was never known to scramble. He plays on his feet. And that's a huge issue the Giants have. And when you can't run the ball at all, at all, at all, that gives the Giants a huge disadvantage because they're just going to keep, sending pressure. And for the most part, they're sending 4-man rushes, and they can't even protect them from that. And it's to the point now where it doesn't matter who we have. You got to look at the receivers the Giants have. When you look at Marshall, you look at Beckham, you look at Shepard, those three guys are collectively, you think on paper, have got to be a top 5 unit. And then you put Engram into the mix, who looks great as a rookie. He had a touchdown this past week. But if you can't give Eli time to throw the ball, it doesn't matter who you got out there. And that's what it comes down to. And that's kind of why last week, and I know we'll talk about it next week, Chris made a comment about Eli, just saying that basically the only reason he's good is because of Beckham. Beckham definitely helps him, but Eli's also won multiple Super Bowls. But in that time, the Giants' offensive line was a unit that had been playing together for years. So to his credit, he has a point. But I don't pit this all on Eli. I don't pit this all on the offensive line. Me personally, this goes back to the head coach. This goes back to the general manager. You knew in the offseason you needed to build this team. You knew you went out and grabbed Marshall. You knew you went out and grabbed Engram. You went out and got Rhett Ellison because you wanted a fullback and a tight end that could block, not just make plays by catching the ball. Your defense you kept intact for the most part. You re-signed JPP. You kept all these guys in place. So you did all of these things, but you didn't get offensive line. And that was the biggest need they had. And they didn't go out. The only thing they did was they went out and got DJ Fluker, and he must have really not done much because he's not even on the starting 5 for the, after going out and signing him to a prove-it deal this past offseason. So for me, the Giants have to get better up front. Have to get better. Whether that means changing the formations up front, maybe they do quicker routes, something. It's obvious that the line's not going to block very well. It's not going to change. These guys are not going to get better overnight. So maybe they do a sliding formation. They got to figure something out, but it starts with McAdoo. A lot of people, drew criticism on him last week because he called out Eli and said, you got to make that play. 100% Eli's got to make that play. He knows that. As a head coach, you don't try and throw your players under the bus. But I've never been a fan of McAdoo. That's just me. With that being said, 0-2, am I scared? Am I nervous? No. The Giants started 0-2, I want to say, back in it's a few years back now, and they actually played the Redskins next and won, and that was the year they won the Super Bowl. They started off 0-2, then won their next 6, went to the Super Bowl and won. Not saying this team's going to win the Super Bowl, just saying the Giants have been in this position before at 0-2 and have made the climb back. But let's get off the offensive line for a second and talk about these receivers. These are the guys that are the talent, and they're dropping passes that are in their hands, which is why we named this episode, The Giants Can't Catch a Break. Brandon Marshall got brought over here to make plays, and he drops a wide open pass, possibly maybe in a touchdown, was definitely a huge play, could have been a huge turning point. He misses that play. We end up punting it. The Lions return it for 88 yards and a touchdown, and that pretty much seals the game.
It would have been a
Beckham
win
then
in
later.
my fantasy, that's for sure.
Yeah, would have given you the win in your fantasy, too. I mean, I'm a little upset at my fantasy. Somehow my app glitched and put Gurley on the bench, so I don't even have him in one of my lineups, so I'm not too happy about that right now. And I've already asked my commissioner to maybe adjust it. We'll see if that can happen. But to no avail. Back to what I was saying. Odell Beckham drops a pass. It seems his ankle was not 100%. He still tried to give it a go, and I appreciate the determination. But hopefully he's back to 100% this week because a healthy Odell Beckham can definitely be a huge bonus, especially in a rivalry game and a division game that's coming up this Sunday. But this offensive line issue is not going away. It's not going away for Sunday. It's not going away this season. They got to do something, whether it's sign somebody off the free agency, make a trade, move guys around. But this offensive line, the 5 they have right now, cannot stay intact and win games.
The commissioner said he can't. There's got to be a way he can.
I'm hoping, especially this early. It's only a minute into the game, but we'll see.
All right. Anyway, that's bullcrap, by the way. Yahoo sucks. But I agree with anything. I agree with everything you say. What's Paul?
I was gonna say he should be able to do it at least after the game, like after the weekend. But I don't know how that would sit with whatever. But he can definitely put somebody in afterwards.
If the app glitched, then he should. But I agree with everything you say. It starts with the offensive line, and then like you said, the receivers. Marshall with that drop pass. Odell, yeah, he's injured. He's trying to get out there, but, he's got to, if you're going to play, make the plays. And then it comes back to running back, and this is where I get with you. You draft Ingram, the tight end that they need. Your running back situation is horrible. You had Dalvin Cook was still out there. Look at him. He's having a great year so far. So, I mean.
But would Dalvin Cook have really done anything if no one could block up front? That's what it comes back to. They should have gotten offensive linemen. That's it. They need a left tackle. That's the anchor of your offense. Eric Flowers can't make it happen. And they're going to stick with him, they said. So I guess they want to go 0-3. So.
All right. So we'll see what happens this week. Hopefully you guys will get it going against the
Eagles.
Against the Eagles.
Yeah,
I
you're
said
right.
that right. So, all right, let's move over. I want to talk about the Redskins last, especially with the comments that were made this week. I'm sure Paul, listening to 106.7 The Fan, what's been going on this week with the Redskins and someone who's irrelevant trying to make themselves relevant again.
I don't think I'm on. Yeah, I actually haven't been paying attention for some reason.
You'll trust me. Chad Dutz made some mainstream media.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll talk about it. So let's go with the Titans real quick. We come out last week, going to halftime, 6-3. I'm sitting here like, oh boy, here we go. See if something's gonna happen. So I'm on my way up to this party. Can't watch the game. Don't have it on the app. Get up to the place. It's freaking 37-16. I wonder what happened. Finally, the offense gets going. They made some big plays. Defense was making plays. Blake Bortles played like Blake Bortles. So Tennessee, I think this week has a tough matchup. And Anthony, do you think we have a chance against the Seahawks at all?
Yeah, I definitely do. Like I said, I think the offense has not been at the level that it should be, and they really haven't. The Packers game was an ugly game for them, and this past week the 49ers another.
And this is when you're beat the
game.
Seahawks. Do it early in the year.
Yeah, I think you could beat the Seahawks. Definitely do. The only team so far that I think that was just outmatched you was the Raiders.
And they're a different. And like I said, they're a top 3 team.
The Raiders are on another level. Yeah, the Raiders are a top 4 team in the NFL. Maybe.
We were keeping up with them, and then
3.
they just broke away at the end.
Yeah.
So
for sure. I definitely think you guys. I like the pieces you guys have in place. I like Corey Davis. I like Derrick Henry a lot. I told you I still think he finds a way to unseat Murray. I know you think there's no way, but he's been playing really well so far this season to start. So.
All right, let's go to the final segment of the day. Redskins, they pull out the victory. They rammed ahead against the Rams. Good victory all around. Robert Kelly went out, and Chris Thompson stepped up in a big way for them. He was one of the top waiver wire pickups. He could potentially become the starter for this team. Cousins, once again, the passing, okay, 18 for 27, 179 yards, 1 touchdown, got sacked twice. So he was okay. But look at the Redskins' rushing yards though. Kelly 78, Thompson 77. Help me with the guy's name from Oklahoma.
I think it's Perrine.
67 yards, and he ran 21 times. He led the team in rushing.
He got a lot of attempts.
So, he ran, 67 yards. So, right there in itself. They ran for 229 yards, and the Rams only ran for 97. So, right there in itself was big. So, let's get to what we really want to talk about this week to finish the show. RG3. So, Santana came out on Monday on Chad Dutz versus the World on 106.7 The Fan and said RG3 was gloating. He was the reason Shanahan and them got fired. Blah, 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 blah. Don't know why Santana's now coming out and saying this, but maybe something was said, and Santana said, screw it, I'm going to go ahead and just reveal all this. So then RG3 backfires, says Santana betrayed him, he thought he was his brother, and all this stuff on Twitter. And then RG3 went on a Twitter rant, which I can't see because he still has me blocked for whatever reason he does. RG3, I know you're not listening, but really, dude, I'm a casual fan, and you're going to block me. Go bone yourself or something, dude. He's a horrible person. He cheated on his wife. He's a horrible person. Not to mention he cheated on his wife when she was pregnant. He can go screw himself. I'm glad he's not in the league anymore. I'm sorry. Am I taking this too far?
Yeah, he's getting salty over there, man.
Am I getting salty? Come on, dude. The dude cheated on his pregnant wife, and then now he wants.
I'm not saying it's right, but let's get back to the football.
And then he still wants people to feel sorry for himself. Go screw. You're a horse's ass. Anyway, so.
Oh, easy now, easy.
So he comes out and says all these things, and I'm gonna agree with Santana because if you listen to a comment RG3 said once, he once said, "Now that the Shanahan's gone, we can finally start doing the things we want to do." So it comes out to say that he didn't agree with Kyle and Mike were doing, And now he's happy that they're gone. And he's probably the reason because, look, he's the only player on the team where his parents got a limo ride to the stadium. His dad was allowed in the locker room, this and that. He was catered to. But guess what? He's out of the lead, and guess what Kyle Shanahan's doing right now? He's a head coach. So who won that battle in the end? And Kyle also went to the Super Bowl last year. So RG3, thumbs up to you, buddy, because he took an offense to the Super Bowl. And guess what? Kyle had a quarterback that didn't run the ball. He had Matt Ryan. Good for you, RG3. Total douchebag. What do you think about the situation?
Listen, man, I think there's two sides of the story. I don't see any reason why Santana Moss would make it up, like you said. I think Santana Moss has always been a great player in the league. Never really gotten into any trouble that I can think of off the top of my head. So for me, I don't see what would benefit him in making up this story that they're trying to say might be fabricated at this point, that that RG3 never did that. Again, but I don't know if that's necessarily was RG3's intent with what he thought. So I'd like to hear more about it, and see what else comes out. But definitely interesting to say the least. If that is the true case that RG3 wanted the Shanahans, fired from the team. Because like you said, Kyle Shanahan was in a Super Bowl this past season as an offensive coordinator. Now he is a head coach of a team on his own with the 49ers.
And how many Super Bowls did Mike win?
Yeah.
I believe he won 2 in a row, didn't he? Right?
With much better quarterbacks, too, at the helm.
Yeah.
So
yeah, better than RG3.
Without question.
And anyone that still says he should have been the guy, where's he at? Where's he
Listen,
at?
man, let's
No,
say
this is for the
about
people that will still say he should have started this and that. Guess what he's doing right now? Sitting on his ass on a couch. That's what he's doing.
Yes, but that's also because the Redskins played him when he was hurt in a game where the field situations were far from ideal. With an already injury, he went out there and played in a game he shouldn't have been in. Wow. And it was in the regular season when they were already in the playoffs. So
no, it wasn't. This was during the Seahawks game in the playoffs.
No, he had hurt himself in the regular season before that. And they played Cousins, and Cousins did fine. They should have just let Cousins play.
Yeah, guess what Cousins did? He came back against the Ravens and won on a draw, and then he beat the Browns the following week. Yeah, it's the Browns, but Cousins came in. He won 2 games for them and got them to the playoffs. I'm not saying
Cousins didn't play well, but that's what I'm saying. So why jump to play RG3 again if he was hurt when you knew Cousins was capable?
Because Danny Boy probably said you had to play him.
Well, and that really hurt his career. So
guess what? The owner sucked for the Redskins too. I want to see Dan Snyder and Jerry Jones have a boxing match. That'd be great. In Cowboy Stadium, dude, they make so much money off of that. Look, Paul wants to say something.
I got everything I'm worth on Jerry Jones.
I do too. I got everything on Jerry Jones. I think he'll knock him out faster than Mayweather knocked out McGregor. Too much?
He didn't really knock him out that fast.
Yeah, but I'm saying Jones will knock Snyder out faster.
I know.
Speaking of fights, GSP officially is back.
Really?
Yeah, for Bisbee. Guess what? He got a title match. He's been gone for how long? How long has he been gone for? Anthony, please.
I don't know. It's been a minute, man.
And he gets a title match. This is why the UFC sucks. So Ronda Rousey could come back tomorrow and they'll give her a title match. So stupid. I hate the UFC. I don't know why we're going off. I don't know why we're going off topic now. It's a sports show. Who cares?
Yeah. You want to talk about? Let's talk about some of the 0-2 teams, like you said.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I got completely off topic.
First,
okay,
before we do that, who is the most surprising 0-2 team to you? Obviously, for me, you know my answer. So,
who?
The Giants. To me, that's the biggest surprise to me that they haven't won a game yet.
That would be a surprise. The Browns, man. I'm just kidding. The Jets, nah.
The funniest thing is that the Browns and the Colts, 2 of the teams you expect to be 0-2 without luck, being there for the Browns, one of them is going to be 1-2 before possibly the Giants or the Bengals.
You know what? The Bengals surprised me. I didn't know they were going to be this bad on offense. What the hell? What in the hell? How
about the Chargers?
They
think the Chargers win?
They had 2 difficult games. Oh, you mean this week?
The Rams scored again. Oh my God, Gurley scored again. I'm done, man. I can't even look at my phone.
Watch you lose this week. I think Chicago loses. I think Cleveland's gonna win. Colts are gonna lose. I think the Jets are gonna lose. I think the Giants are gonna lose.
You think the Browns are gonna beat the Colts, huh?
Yeah. I think New
Okay.
Orleans are going to beat Carolina. Even though I said to start what's-his-face this week, I still, for some reason, think the Saints are the best team. I think out of all the 0-2 teams, the Saints have the best chance. I don't know why. I mean, obviously the Colts and Cleveland have the best chance, but I don't really count them. I say the Saints have the best chance. I know I said to do start him for Cam Newton, but I mean, it could be a high-scoring game. Who knows?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. The Saints, I feel like they're just too good to like.
I think the Panthers are going to win that game. That's me personally.
Saints 0-3. Who's been your, real quick? Who's been your surprise team this year? That's just like, out of the 2-0 teams, who's been your surprise?
Out of the 2-0 teams,
I gotta say the Ravens.
I was going to say the Ravens, the Broncos.
What about Detroit?
No, listen. I picked Detroit and the Cowboys to make the playoffs, and those are the two teams that beat the Giants. So I'm not that surprised that they won their games. The Lions, I definitely think are a capable team, but I'd say the Ravens are a surprise to me. Especially that their first game was it against the first game? Yeah, the first game they played the Bengals. It was a pretty convincing win too. I think it was 20-0.
Oh, you know what the worst part about the Gurley touchdown was a receiving touchdown too.
Yep, I know. Tell me about it. It's sickening. He's got 16 points. He's on my bench. That's not even halfway in the first quarter. There's got to be a way to fix that, man.
And I'm playing someone who has Gurley. Go F myself.
And I literally realized it at kickoff too. It wasn't even like then you said he scored a touchdown. I'm like, yeah, now I'm just even more nauseous. He scored the touchdown in the first 2 minutes. So it is what it is. I have it all. I've sent a message in the group. I sent a message to the commissioner, and I said it here, so you know that I asked about it before, anything happened.
Let's say I'm gonna start my league 1 and 2 because the guy playing me has Gurley. God bless America. And I stayed away from him too after what happened last year. So, all right. So, we got baseball playoffs coming up, so that should be really good.
Who did you pick to win it all at the beginning of the year? Do you remember?
Was it I think I picked the Nats.
Are you sticking with the Nationals? How do you feel?
Actually, you know what?
Tell me about it. How do you feel about the Nationals?
You know what? I had Nats versus Cleveland. I had Cleveland winning it. I'm gonna stay with Cleveland.
How do you feel? How do you feel about the Nationals, though? You feel they're getting stronger? You feel that Harper's due back soon?
I feel like they're getting stronger. But there is one thing that's concerning me right now, and this is where I think they're going to end up not making. I think their starting pitching is starting to get worn out. Scherzer has been pitching. I think they're getting worn out a little bit, but who knows? Scherzer's the type of guy who turns it up when it needs to be turned up. We saw that last year. Strasburg and Gio should both be Cy Young candidates. If you don't mention Gio Gonzalez in the Cy Young, there's something wrong with you right now. I really believe. I mean, I don't know how you feel about him, but he's having I think he's having like a career year. I mean, look at the ERA for the Nats. Look at this. Look at Scherzer 2.59, Steven 2.60, Gio 2.68. Now compare that to your first 3 that World Series year. Did you guys have this kind of ERA?
What was it?
It was 2.59, 2.60, 2.68. You didn't have anything that
No.
has anyone ever had an ERA this good from their top 3 pitchers?
If I can't think of it off the top of my head, if someone did do that.
I mean, that's insane. I mean, it's incredible. And then here's the thing right now. We have Cleveland with 96 wins. They'll probably get to 100. You have Houston with 93. They're at they have a shot. You have Dodgers 97, Nats 92. Have we ever had a season where we had 4 100-win teams? Does it even happen that often?
No, I don't know if it's ever happened.
I mean, every year you may have 1, but to have 4 potentially. I mean, you're going to have 2, but potentially 3 or 4. I mean, what does that say about the rest of the league? I mean, in the Dodgers, here's the thing with the Dodgers. This is what's really... I mean, Arizona has 88 wins and Colorado have 82, so it's not like that division sucks. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. Right now, as a Nats fan, I'd rather not get the first place, and I'd rather get second and play the Cubs because, let's be honest, the Cubs really aren't that good this year.
Okay.
That's my opinion. I would rather have the Nationals play the Cubs than play Arizona or Colorado because those two teams can hit, and I feel like whoever plays the Dodgers, they're going to wear the Dodgers out. But I still have Nats versus Cleveland in my World Series.
I like that matchup.
And I still have the Cleveland winning.
I still have the Red Sox winning it all. I think the Indians are going to play well, but I feel like they really got hot now, and I feel like they might fizzle a little bit.
Who do you have in the National League? The Dodgers?
I don't remember who I picked. I really don't. I'd have to look again. I think I had the Cubs.
I had the Giants making the playoffs.
I might have picked the Mets, just being a funny guy. I might have been.
I know you had. I know we both had them in a first round playoff matchup.
Yeah, well, that's far gone.
So as of right now, who do you have in the NL?
I think I had the Mets. I'm gonna go with. Ooh, man, that's a tough one.
Now, obviously, when the playoff matchups are set, we'll go through this again. But who would you, if the season ended right now, and the NL,
I'm gonna go with the Red Sox. Red Sox versus the Nationals.
You really believe the Nationals can get it done?
Yeah, man. I've told you I watched them in person annihilate the Mets. Unfortunately,
that was early in the year.
I got to see the offense, how they how they could hit the ball. Even guys like Michael Taylor, who is just coming in for recently injured Adam Eaton.
And guess what, guys? Harper's already taken BP. He's taking grounders. He's taking fly ball. He's running the bases.
Yeah, there's no need to rush him back, though. There's no need. He
He'll
could
be
come back.
I think he needs to come back.
Last week of September.
He needs to come back at least for the last series to get back into the motions.
Yeah.
But once he's back, the lineup's back together, except for Adam Eaton. That's it. Turner's already come back and making an impact.
That's what I'm saying. I like your guys' chances. Speaking of bringing people back, whoever's listening, I know no Mets personnel is going to be listening to this. There is no need for Thor to come back this year and pitch a game. No need. Let the guy rest.
Have they said it? Have they said it?
They want him to come and pitch a game before the season's over. For what?
Why? What's the reason? There's no reason.
For what? Are you trying to trade him? Then why else does he need to show what he still has? You don't need this guy to pitch. Please stop it.
Where did they trade him in the offseason?
Oh, I'd be done. That's fun. New team. No.
Come to DC, buddy. Come to DC.
No, never. Hey, you know what? Do we have a couple minutes? Can we talk a little college football real quick?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Anyone that surprised you so far this year? That's
Maryland.
What about last week, Mississippi State? Beating up on LSU like that.
Oh, shit. Yeah, you're right. Oof. Yee. I didn't see that till right now. How about Texas almost pulling off the upset? Oh, by the way, USC, go screw yourself. You lost to Texas in the national championship. Don't try to go on your website or whatever and say that you're 4-0 against Texas because that season didn't count. You lost. Get over yourselves. Did you see that?
I didn't see that, no.
They try to say they're 4-0 because that season didn't count for them. That's so stupid.
Whatever.
You lost. You had Reggie Bush and all of them, and you still lost.
Yeah, there's no. You lost that game. Vince Young brought the team back. That's it. You lost. That's it.
Hey, guess what? Matt Leinart also lost to Vince Young twice on last-second drives. That Tennessee dude, I actually go back and I rewatched that.
He had a real run though that year. Didn't he run like 6 games in a row or something like that, coming from behind or something?
For the Titans?
Vince Young? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I go back and I watch that drive at least once a month, just because it's 99 yards in under 2 minutes. It's such a beautiful drive. How many people can do that?
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
So now he's
How do you feel about Oklahoma? They beat Ohio State. Was it 2 weeks ago?
Oh, I love Baker Mayfield for doing what he did though. That was awesome.
People lost it.
That was the greatest thing.
You gotta love a good heel, man.
How about this week, Maryland versus UCF? Who do you got?
You know my feelings, baby. Let's go Knights.
Let's go Terps.
Come on.
How about Maryland though, man? Like I know they played Towson, but and Texas, but they had the redshirt freshman coming against Texas when they were trying to climb back in it. And
Are they ranked?
No, we're not ranked.
But you're 2-0 or 3-0?
2-0. We're not ranked. Maybe if we win the next couple of games, we'll be ranked. But no, they're not. They're not ranked.
Of course not. Another matchup I think that's gonna be really good this week too. Not to jump up, we'll get back to that. But it is Mississippi State, who's now number 17 against Georgia, number 11. So that's an SEC game. Both teams 3-0. I think that Mississippi State might pull the upset there.
Yeah, Maryland's 2-0. They have UCF and they have Minnesota, and then
we play this week. UCF and Maryland.
Yeah, buddy. I'll chalk that up as a W.
All right, do what you gotta do.
Remember
last year? Remember last year? What was it, like double overtime?
Yeah, but our freshman quarterback also won it by breaking your dude's ankles.
Yeah, that was fake.
That was fake.
It was all fake.
All right, that's going to do it for us today. I want to thank everyone for listening. Thank everyone for watching. Anthony, thanks for coming back. We will be doing a special episode next Wednesday, Paul. Is that still on the table for next Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday's fine.
Well,
all right, cool. So what?
No, that's fine. I was gonna say if not, we can always announce it during the week.
No,
if
so
we need to
next
figure it out.
Wednesday we'll be back 8 o'clock. Anthony and Chris will have a little fun segment to themselves. I'm gonna sit back and just drink a beer while those two go at it.
All but respect. Nothing crazy.
We'll have a classic Stephen A. Skip Bayless matchup. So you can catch us on YouTube /Stipe Sports Talk, Facebook /Stipe Sports Talk, at Stipe Sports Talk on Twitter, Gmail, stipesportstalk@gmail.com, and you can catch my new gaming YouTube channel, Flamin' Chi Dragon. Don't ask me about the name. It was made as a joke. I'll be uploading some Madden content, and Paul is also doing the editing for me for that, which is really awesome. So I'm actually doing a franchise mode for the Tennessee Titans. So come and see if I can win the Super Bowl with the Titans. So that's going to do it for us. Hopefully Anthony can get Madden and we can finally do our group franchise mode that I'm going to put also on the YouTube page, which is going to be really funny.
Yeah.
Wait till you see this guy lose, man. He goes ballistic.
Talking about me or about Paul?
You. On Madden, when someone drops the ball, dude, you lose it.
No, we're not going to talk about that. Listen, if my team drops the ball, or whether it's in Madden, I'm not a happy guy. I don't want to see drop passes, man.
Whenever someone drops something on Madden, Anthony says, I'm cutting them.
He's gone.
All right, so thank you everyone for listening. Tune in next Wednesday for Stripe Sports Talk, and OT3 is on the rise. Get ready, Season 3 will debut soon. So thank you everyone, and have a good weekend. Enjoy some football. Go Todd
Have a
Gurley.
good night.
See ya.
Go Knights. No, man, don't talk about Gurley. Go Knights, go Giants. All right, baby, let's go.
Another touchdown for Gurley.
Don't.